Welcome back to CEEN Caribbean News, and it's now time to go in depth. Last weekend, the eastern parishes of Portland and St. Thomas were battered by heavy rainfall, which left millions of dollars in damages when the rain clouds cleared. Candice Ming visited the parishes on Wednesday and files this in-depth report.
Downed trees, land slippages, and varying tales of loss. That's the situation in sections of St. Thomas and Portland impacted by heavy rains last weekend. Damage in St. Thomas was to a lesser degree than its eastern neighbor and occurred far inland, impacting mainly the communities of Seaforth, Trinityville, and their environs. Main reported damages were to roadways which had become overrun by water, mainly from overflowing rivers. Secretary General of the St. Thomas Parish Council, Errol Green, in outlining the damages, says an official cost estimation has not yet been calculated.
The northeastern, the eastern section and the northwestern section of the parish got hit very hard. As a matter of fact, the town of Morant was flooded out on Friday night. We had hail. It rained hail on a Friday night, and for a period of maybe about 2-3 hours, we had very heavy rainfall. The courthouse in Morant Bay was flooded out, had to be closed for 2 days. The streets were flooded out, and cars washed away, gullies overflowed their banks, rivers overflowed their banks, and so on. But where we have the greatest damage is in the Trinityville area and the Seaforth area. Navarre Lane has been completely scoured, that's in the Seaforth area. And a number of roads, parochial roads, in the Seaforth and the Trinityville divisions have been blocked. Some partially, some fully blocked. A few communities have been inaccessible. So we have moved equipment into those areas to clear the roads as best as possible.
Mr. Green and a team from the National Works Agency took a tour of the areas impacted on Wednesday and promised that the figures will be released as soon as an assessment is completed. Over in Portland, the impact from the rain could be seen almost everywhere, especially in the inland areas in the eastern section of the island. In one instance, half a roadway was gone. But the more gripping tales of the heavy rain's impact came from persons who were directly affected. One farmer says she suffered damage not only to her banana farm, but she also lost livestock.
It's very bad. Very bad, as where you can see, all of my things them washed away. Mash up and that kind of something. I have to move all my cow, them swim with them. Me and my son and a couple more. I lose one. She lose a couple pigs, same way they drown the same way. I have to move to make different parts and know.
She says after the extensive loss, she'd appreciate any sort of help she can get.
Well, that help me to, whether some fertilizer or help me if I give some cash when I can pay back somebody same, because I pay me to pay for it. As well, me a woman can't do it myself, me have to pay. Because I do me living off of farming.
Another farmer who shied away from our cameras says his 3 goats were washed away in the flooding. And the river rafting industry, which is the bread and butter of the hard-hit Berrydale community, took a major beating that could greatly impact the attraction. One raft captain explained that a majority of the rafts were damaged.
Well, about maybe 80% of the raft are gone. And the 76 captain do this work here. So each guy, maybe some of the guys them have 2 rafts, some of them have 3, some have 1. That depends, Yeah. That's the most rough. But maybe what get away in the flood here, maybe 80% of the raft are gone. Without the raft, we can't get no money here, And if I do not do little farming or whatever, nothing for us, So it's really the rafting we go about here,
He estimates that the cost to build a raft is $11,000, and aside from assistance that would be welcomed to cover the cost to build one, he's calling for the river to be trained. This, he says, may help to control the dangers the river poses to residents of the community when there are heavy rains. And homes were not spared from the wrath of the overflowed Rio Grande River. One woman brought us into her home to show us the extent of the damage. She has next to nothing left. She's appealing for assistance to buffer the loss for the sake of her 3 children.
I would like furniture, bed stuff, of course food, and all of this one, the 6-year-old one, textbook's gone. I have no textbook for her to go to school. And some assistance with the small one because most of his stuff got washed away. Me and the other, I know me can cope because me big, but I like some assistance for you. I have to go to school Monday morning and just most of the textbooks and somewhere for them to sleep. Right now, it's just 2 rooms upstairs. It's not really convenient. So I would really love something for them to sleep on. So a dry place. So I'm appealing to the public for help.
In the community of Comfort Castle, the most distressing tale of loss is the owner of this banana farm who lost a majority of what would have been substantial earnings from the next crop. Food for the Poor and the government has pledged support to the members of East Portland who were affected, though the assistance has not yet been quantified. The National Works Agency has placed a $60 million tag as a temporary estimate on the infrastructural damage, but Member of Parliament for East Portland, Dr. Linval Bloomfield, says that figure could climb as high as $100 million. Dr. Bloomfield says there are plans to offer assistance to persons affected by the disaster.
The Ministry of Agriculture, through the RADA, has already been putting their figures together, but I spoke to the parish manager just today, and she has not been able to give me a specific figure, but they have been collating all the information and putting it together. So very shortly we should be hearing as to how extensive the damage and what in terms of their ability to contribute to the restoration.
The Member of Parliament says he's willing to spearhead an initiative to see residents living in flood-prone and low-lying areas, especially those who are close to riverbeds, be relocated.
That would be based on a needs assessment in terms of the various agencies and stakeholders sitting down and coming to an understanding of which areas are more suitable to have persons living there. For example, the area where the 4 houses were destroyed was within a 200-feet area. And that area has been subject to 3 land slippages in the last 10 years, with people losing homes. So there's no point in establishing homes in that 100-meter area. One would want to move those persons from where the land slippage is. In other words, all of that topsoil is now very unstable. And with another rain, that could easily move again. So there's no point in building anything in that stretch of 100 to 200 meters. Rather, it is easier for government to acquire land or to point to land that government already owns and create a condition for these persons to move. So in other words, they would not be leaving their general community, but rather we would just be relocating to areas around the area that are amenable to sustainable lifestyle and development.
Candice Ming for CEEN Caribbean News.